Howdy and welcome back to the channel. These are going to be relevant in a minute, but right now they're just sitting there so you have something to look at. Basically, we're going to be talking about a different type of subject than what we're used to. Normally on this channel we're going to talk about equipment. This one is kind of equipment, but kind of not. The basic premise is that I'm going to be doing Innawoods challenges, I think, over the summer and over the springtime, maybe into the fall season. I've seen Innawoods challenges posted for about 10 years and I've never seen anybody actually do one. So I'm going to do my best to fit all the rules and knock them out one by one as time goes on. Mostly because it's something to do and mostly because I haven't gotten outside for way too long and I need to hone in my bushcrafting skills a little bit better. Which is where these guys are going to come in. We're going to start off with the overnighter, which you can see on your screen now. And the basic things that you need to know about it is I have to assemble a bug out bag for less than $10. I'm not allowed to bring food, although we'll get into what that means in a second. I'm not allowed to bring more than 1 liter of water, 1 knife or hatchet. It's a 4-mile hike in, a 4-mile hike out. And I have to cook 1 hot meal on there. There's the European version, which says I'm not allowed to bring any kind of fire whatsoever. I don't know if I'm that good. So we'll see what we can do. I bought a bunch of stuff today. Let's lay it out and see what's useful and what my ideas are going forward. Alrighty, through your astute observations, you'll notice this is more than $10 worth of stuff. And you'd be absolutely right. But that's because we're going to mess around with it, and I'm going to deal with pricing as we go along here. What is important is that these are not going to count because I just need the tins, and the tins cost less than a cent. The fuel I'm going to be using for this camp out is going to be one of these two, but I don't know if I can get away with 70% or not. I haven't played with this stuff before, so we're going to see what we can get to catch on fire, and then we'll adjust the price accordingly. I may or may not bring a flashlight. I may or may not bring a poncho. I might bring these, and if I do, it's only an account for the cost of one of those boxes, not the entire thing. And we're going to go through all of the prices as we go along here. But we're going to start off with a little bit of experimenting. Another thing that you might have noticed on the list of things that I'm not allowed to bring is food. However, I think it means something a little bit different. I think that when they wrote that, they implied I can't bring pre-made stuff like jerky or MREs or anything like that. I actually have to heat something up and eat it. So we are going to work around by using one of these. Depending on what the price is, at the end of this, we will be using this one or this one. They're both about 300 calories a pop. So regardless of what I do, it's going to be a pretty shit day, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. Alright, to kick it off, we're going to go ahead and do a quick experiment. We have isopropyl alcohol, 70%, and isopropyl alcohol, 91%. I have a feeling that this is going to light on fire, but this costs less, so I'd want to use that. We're going to experiment with 91% first, because if this doesn't light, then I'm just, wrecked. That's probably way more than I need. Fuck. Yeah, it lights. Imagine that. Alright, she's out. Okay, now we're going to practice with the 70%, see if we can get away with that. Ooh, not as good of a show. Oh, it's trying. It does light, but it's not as good. Well, I think that for the sake of the challenge, we can get away with the 70, so that'll save us a little bit of money. If you've watched any bushcrafting stuff in the past, you probably have some kind of idea of what I'm going to be doing with these cans. And that isopropyl alcohol, the problem is that these are full right now, so we're going to fix that as we work on our next project. Lucky me, huh? Alrighty, we're on to the next part of the problem, which is the way to sleep. Typically, I wouldn't bring anything for a camp out like this, just an overnighter. But, where's the fun in that? You can obviously beat this challenge by just going outside, sitting next to a tree for a night, and then coming home the next day. But I want to actually make something. So what I did is I went to Salvation Army. I picked up this curtain here for $2.99 or whatever it was. And I got 2 of these trap lines, which are basically paracord, but they're definitely thinner stuff. We're going to see if I can make a hammock out of this and sleep in it. Alright, so let's go ahead and open up one of these. There was a reason why I picked a curtain. I was like, well, typically a hammock is just a piece of parachute with some line through it. So let's take a curtain, which has a curtain rod hole, and put some line through it. And that should give us the shape of a hammock. Yeah, I think that's going to take too long, but I do have this stick with a hook on it, so maybe this will make it a little bit faster. Okay, easy enough. Just going to take both of the ends, and we're going to tie them together. Okay, well, there's one end done. Do I need 2 of these? That's the question. Depends, I guess, if I can find trees that are close together and not done it. Or if this can even hold my weight. It should. It should. But just because things should be able to do things does not normally mean that they do. So again, we're going to do exactly the same thing we did before. You might think that this kind of challenge is like a homeless person challenge, but to be honest with you, homeless people have nicer stuff than this. Gucci Gucci. Alright, we got both ends tied off. Now it's the part where I got to attach it to a tree. Alright, we're going to cut these lines roughly in half. Easy enough. There's one. And there's 2. I am no bushman, but I think I can do okay. Let's put that to the test, though. Ooh. Alright, tub number 2. Okay, we retied it. What about now? What's the problem? How do we fix it? Okay, that looks like it might be it. Now, can the curtain seam hold my body weight? That's exactly the next thing to go. She's angry. Oh! No. Well, it ain't 550 cord, I'll tell you that. Well, obviously this begs the question. If 1 can't do it, can 2 do it? So let's try re-knotting this, retying this, and trying again and seeing what happens. That looks a lot better. Let's see if it holds. Oh, we got liftoff. Well, alrighty. Now that my back hurts, but we have our bedding taken care of, let's go ahead and move on to building a penny stove. I'm going to use this nail, hopefully. We'll see if it works okay. Yeah, there's a million videos on how to do this on YouTube, so I don't really have anything to add. If you want to deep dive, just go look up somebody else's video. I'm not going to take the time to do it. In case you're wondering, that's not beer, that's water. I rinse these things out once I was finished with them. I just keep thinking about how miserable that tomorrow night's gonna be. Unless it's like 80 degrees out or something, I think it's gonna be pretty awful. I chose these cans specifically because they're just huge, you know. Most people just make these out of like small beer cans. I wanted to make something a little bit different just to see how it works. I imagine it's gonna be exactly the same, but with, you know, more. I mean, that's pretty good. Talk about ASMR, huh? I'll do ASMR for you. I'll tell you you're a good boy. I guess I'll use that blue line as a marker. Okay, let's try that. Yeah, that's more like it. Cool. 70%. That should be enough to test it. Okay, I did a little bit of research real quick. Turns out that I did something wrong. Okay, so what if we're going to take this off. We're going to throw a little bit of fuel across the bottom of it. Apparently that's the priming fuel. So throw a little bit of down there. Oh, this will be fun to look at. All right. Perfect. Alright. Well, I was supposed to light the whole thing, but it didn't do it. These things always seem awesome, but I can never get them to work. I hate to see that. Alright, let's try again. Okay, well, some people just fill the thing up. I'm going to use this one because I don't think we're going to be taking it with us, but now it seems to be completely filled. So we'll see about that. I have a feeling it's going to be a big one. Try that. I feel like that's more fuel than is required, but it's starting to look like it's coming out of the holes finally. Ooh, that's new. Holy shit. Oh, fuck. Okay. I think I've had about enough of that. Well, it works. Okay, we're going to give that another try. And just in case you guys thought I was actually just a little too dumb, I do in fact have fire extinguishers that are on standby in case something goes wrong. Give it another go here. Yeah, there it goes again. Well, it looks like it's going well enough I can take it out of the pot at least. Okay. So yeah, I think it was the pot reflecting the heat or whatever back at it. It was making it act up. So while that's going, I think we need to discover how to make some kind of stand for it so I can set my can on top. No, it seems like it would work. I just have to put my can on top and it should cook it. Maybe there's a reason why people use smaller cans in this, and so they don't have to use as much fuel. I didn't consider that. Well, that was a little nutty. Everybody else makes it look like it's so much easier than that. Yeah, we're going to use the rest of these Foster's cans to make a couple of windscreens. It should be pretty quick. I'm basically just going to cut that. I'm going to go around the rim real quick, and that should give us an okay windscreen. Our little stove went out when I took it out of the pan when the wind hit it, so let's just do that real quick. Try to mitigate the problems we have tomorrow. These definitely don't need to be perfect. Alright, now we just have some sharp metal. Let's see if we can't do something about that. Alright, yeah, let's go see if those help out at all. Windscreen seems to be doing okay. I think we have enough money going that we can take the more expensive can, so we'll go ahead and do a test run with the mushroom. Oh, it goes out. What if we just like... Let's try again. We got our tools, we got our food, we know how we're gonna cook it. Now we just have to do it for real in adverse conditions after a 4-mile hike. Okay, let's give it a try. Alright, we got our can of soup now. It's all heated up. Let's see how it tastes. I don't want to eat much of this. That is horrible. Oh. So, great value, cream of mushroom condensed soup. I do not recommend to the masses, but I think we got everything we need. Now we're just going to take what's left, we're going to tally up the cost of everything, and start packing for tomorrow. Alright, now that all the fun is out of the way, let's go ahead and start packing our bag for tomorrow. This is everything we got, and we're going to list them off. The alcohol cost $2.08. We got The trap line, we're going to bring 2 of them, but they're 1.96 a pop. And our curtain was $2.99. We're going to count all of this over here as like 10 cents, because really that's what the can would have costed, plus, you know, the penny in these like little pieces of scrap metal. So we'll call that basically a wash and cover it up for anything that's missing at the end. We're only going to bring one of our boxes of matches, which is going to take the price down from $1.78 to, we'll say, 18 cents. And we'll bring a poncho, which was $1.98, which brings our total to about $12, which is over 10. However, comma, there's one thing that we didn't consider, which is that when I first saw this challenge, it was about 10 years ago, and the price of pretty much everything has gone up since then. So I'm going to count it as, you know, we'll see, 2012, $2011 to $2024 is like $1 is now like $1.40 or whatever. So if we were to do all the increase, I should be sitting at about $14 for this whole thing, and I'm still way below that with the $2. It's not enough that I can bring anything super nice like a flashlight. Unfortunately, it looks like we're just going to have to use intuition to get through the night, but I think we'll be okay anyway. Alrighty, let's get packed up. Alright boys, this is the morning of. Let's get ready to go. We have our REI backpack, we have our wool gloves, sleeping socks, 1 liter water bottle, camp shoes, crappy Gerber axe I've had forever and a day. This is my fleece lined pants, base layer, North Face fleece layer, AR7. We have a pair of wool socks that I'm going to be wearing when it gets cold out, hat, jacket, mask. Quick change on the way there. I decided I'm going to use 1/2 of one of the lengths of trapping cable, and I'm going to ditch the poncho, and I'm going to put that money into a cooking pot. Just know that that's a little change we have going in. Well, alright, we're off. Hopefully I got everything I need. I think I overpacked for my clothing, but we'll see. It's a little chilly out already, and it's the middle of the day. Maybe it'll cool down a little bit tonight. It's supposed to get to the 40s, I think. So not having any insulation whatsoever sounds like it's going to be a terrible, terrible night. Womp womp. When I was told that I had a 4-mile hike, I didn't think it was going to be like this, but I don't know, 4 miles is 4 miles, I guess. It's a nice view so far, though. Can't wait to see what we got. Cool. Oh, there she is. Beautiful as ever. There's another one. I mean, free is free, right? Ugh. We made it to a beach, which is pretty cool. Some sand dunes on the other side. But this is an Innawoods challenge, and I don't see any woods. So I'm a little confused. But hey, whatever. It looks like we're going all the way out there. Ain't much around here though. Actually, can push back down. And on we go. We made it off of the ocean. We're headed back inland. Ah, trees. Wonderful. I was wondering how I was going to set up a hammock on sand dunes, but it looks like we're saved. Awesome. Nice view. I used to walking around sand dunes like this. I don't know if there's any firewood where I'm going, but if there isn't, that'll probably come in handy right there. I do have my hatchet with me. Good stuff. All right, we made it. Unfortunately, this campground has a burn ban, so I'm not actually allowed to do any of the super cool things. I have like 2 hours left of sunlight, and then I'm kind of hung out to dry for the night, so we'll go ahead and get this, the most difficult part, knocked out, which is making sure the hammock gets set up properly. And the hike was supposed to be 4 miles in, 4 miles out. Unfortunately, that's not really an option, so I did 6 miles in, 6 miles out. Or else I would have been set up a while ago. Okay. It might be sketchy, but it's up. Now let's take that blanket that we found and make a underquilt for it, because that's really the crux of the night, is that I don't have any way of insulating my hammock. So we're gonna see what we can do here with that. All right, we're good. At least I can sit in it without it breaking. Yeah, it's not great, but there is in fact an air pocket underneath. We do have some insulation for the night. Guys, here's the sitch. I got about, let's say, 30 minutes left of daylight. This campsite has a burn ban in effect, so except for cooking supplies, I can't actually have a fire, and they're coming around and checking. So it's going to be kind of a rough night. I have all my sleep equipment on except for my sleepy socks, and we need to cook dinner still. That'll be the last check on our checklist. And then I'm going to have a long, probably fairly cold night. It's 50 degrees, which isn't too bad. But I am missing most of the sleeping equipment required for 50 degrees, like a basic sleeping bag. So these layers are pretty much the only thing that's going to keep me going. And it appears as though I made a little oopsie daisy and forgot the penny part of the penny stove. So I found this flat rock instead, which is a little bit too big. Looks like it'll do. Alright, let's see if we can get dinner cooking. There we go. Luckily, it seems like the breeze that I had all day kind of died down, so as long as this goes quickly, it should be good. Alright, it looks like it's going. Might not even need those windscreens that we built. One thing that I was not able to get inside of the budget, unfortunately, was a spoon. So we're just going to have to eat this like a soup. There it goes. Did it go out? It did. Why'd it go out? Let's look at that right there. Maybe we'll just have to do it like this. We got some steam coming out of the pot, looks like. Yeah, I might just have to hold it up. Every time I set it down, the flame almost goes out. It seems to just really not like it when I set the pan down. What about that? Huh? It sucks to look at because all of the heat is next to it instead of on it. Could also try using our heat shields to try to make a hot stain. We got plenty of fuel, man. We got plenty of fuel. They're about the same height. Will they hold weight? They will. You like that? I think that works. It's burning. I just want to see one bubble. I want to see it. Oh, there it goes. It's in fact starting to boil. When scavenging around, I did find a broken shell. It should work okay as a spoon. Could use a little bit more heat, to be honest with you. It's not the fanciest meal I've ever had in my life, but you know what? It's pretty good for what it is. Alright, well, we're getting ready to cut it in for the night. Bugs are starting to come out. I'm happy I brought the ski mask. It's the only thing on my body they can bite. So I guess my fingertips if they really wanted to. And go ahead and turn the flashlight off so they stop coming over here. Let's go over some of the choices that I did. I chose a hammock because it's the easiest and cheapest way that you can get off the ground and retain as much of your body heat as possible, while also keeping you away from as many bugs as possible. The flying ones are going to be a pain in the ass, but at least I don't really have to deal with the creepy crawlies on the ground. Oh man, they're really trying to get me. I rolled up my clothes that I was wearing earlier today for hiking, and I'm just using that as a pillow. And because I don't have any kind of blanket or anything, I'm just going to use a jacket. But I got my little Armalite here with me. I got some sleeping pills to help the night pass. And I got my stove still. That thing's been burning for like an hour and a half now. That's ridiculous. It's going well enough. I might even start it back up later just because. I guess I'll share a little anecdote before I go to sleep. I used to be in the Boy Scouts once upon a time, and I did a challenge that was kind of similar to this, but it was way worse, where they took us and they made us hike into this clearing. Me and a bunch of other Boy Scouts, we got nothing. I had less than I got now, and I was saying something. I basically just had a flashlight and a knife, and they told us to camp for the night and make a shelter, but we weren't allowed to cut down any trees or pick out any branches or anything. So what inevitably ended up happening was a bunch of 11 and 12-year-olds spent the entire night huddled up together for warmth because it dropped down to probably, God, it had to be 20 degrees or so. I was watching my water bottle frost over, and me and this other kid, we'll call him Tim. Tim and I were sitting back to back the entire night against a tree stump, and we had a space blanket for the two of us. Neither of us knew how to use a space blanket, so we tried to lay it over both of us like a regular blanket. It did not help. But I sat there and didn't sleep for the entire cycle of the night, and I sat up and I looked at the sky, and I just counted stars until it was time to get up in the morning. Longest night of my life. But I thought, hey, if I could do that, I can do this. It's March. It's only 50 degrees out. I'm way overbundled for 50, but I'd rather be too hot than too cold, especially since where I'm at has a no hiking at night policy. Not that it would matter, I don't have a flashlight anyway, except for the phone. But I think I'll be alright. I think we'll be okay, bros. Alrighty, that's all I got for you guys for tonight. If anything happens, I'll let you know. Yeah, it's been about 3 hours. I just woke up for no reason other than just being cold. I think I'm gonna start the stove back up. Okay, so I got the stove lit back up. It's providing pretty much nothing but a little bit of light and give me something to do. I have roughly 8 hours right now until the sun comes back up, and that should last me about an hour if it's anything to go by the last time I had it lit. So I'll just lay here and be mildly uncomfortable until about 7 a.m. Cool, I'll give you any updates if they come along. It's been about another hour, but the good news is that this is the coldest part of the night, and it's supposed to warm up from here for the rest of the time. I'm not like shivering or anything, but I'm cold enough I'm having trouble sleeping. But at least I have the rest of the evening to look forward to, where it's gonna raise a couple of degrees till it's time to go. Look at that. Sunrise is officially in about
11 minutes. Oh, so I'm a little nippy, but it's not too bad. I'm a little scrunchy, because this is basically sized for a child, but it is definitely not the worst night I've had in the woods. The bugs went away after I fell asleep the first time. I've basically been jumping between being asleep and being awake since for about the last 11 hours or so, but we made it. We don't have any breakfast. All I have is my tobacco pipe, a couple of matches, and a dream. So I don't know if I'm going to stick around all day. I think once the sun officially comes up, we're gonna start packing up and heading out. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, it's officially sunrise, which means that the challenge is completed. I just need to make it back to the car now. And now that it's sunrise, the park is open to start walking in again. Let's get packed up and get out of here before these mosquitoes get too bad. Well, that was it. We're on our way back now. It looks like it's going to be an overcast day the entire day today, so I might leave all this on, but I might heat up as the sun comes back up. I'll find out. Luckily, I think I can do about 2/3 of this hike with bare feet, as most of it's on sand dune. That'd be kind of nice, as long as it isn't too cold on the sand. We got about 5.5 miles left to go, and I don't feel too hot yet. I gotta admit, last night was probably the perfect conditions for this kind of thing. There was almost zero wind chill whatsoever. Still cold enough, though there's not too many bugs out. But I would definitely recommend a countermeasure for that. I'm pretty sure you could just include bug spray in your medical supplies. I didn't do that. I have some other tricks for later on this summer when it heats up, so I don't have to use bug spray. A pretty little walk. Yeah, get out here and do some stuff, man. It's a fun time. On another note, I was thinking about the stalker challenges. The issue that I have with them is that almost all of them call for finding an abandoned structure to spend the night in, and there are no abandoned structures. Not even ones that you can sneak into. I looked, and in this entire freaking state, they're all gone. So, I need a workaround if I want to do those. What I'm thinking about doing is finding cabins that I can rent or yurts around the state, and I will use those, and in lieu of it being an abandoned structure, I just won't have access to any of the amenities that are in them, like electricity or heating or anything like that, for the time that's given for whatever it is that I'm doing. That seems fair, you know. Hey, hit me up if you have a better idea. Hit me up, and we'll see what we can do with it. Luckily, as of late, I'm gonna have a lot of time off that I can do stuff with, so many of these 3-day challenges will be pretty easy to do. I just have to find time, and I gotta plan places to go to. This one's not bad, but I like to build a fire, and this is a non-fire burning campground. I'll keep my eyes open, see if I can't find a better location. This one's nice though. I mean, if you like sand, it's not bad. Nothing like the ocean. Only got about 3.5 more miles of this to go. I really don't have anything to add, just that the sun came out. That's pretty cool. Well, it looks like our journey is coming to a close. I saw some pretty interesting stuff, a couple of cottonmouths. One was alive, one was dead. Almost walked into the alive one, annoyingly, but it's okay. I saw him at the last second. We're good. Yeah, I'll let you guys know when I get back. And we're out of the park, lads. Cool. Well, I'm gonna walk the last 1.5 miles or so back to the truck, and then I'll let you guys know how it went when we get back to the house. Yeah. Would you look at that? We managed to make it home all in one piece, which is to be expected. In the weather that I went, this was a very simple challenge. In hotter weather, whether it be 70, 80 degrees, maybe even 90, this wouldn't be easy. This would be absolute child's play. Anybody could do it. We met all the wickets that we set out to do. We even surpassed a couple of them and did extra. And now for a couple of lessons learned.
Number one, don't be afraid to use things that you find. I didn't use this as a blanket. I just used this as a thing to insulate my hammock, and it came in handy for that. Using a bigger can was not quite the move I thought it was going to be. Once it got going, it was awesome, but it took a lot of fuel to get it started. Our windscreens ended up becoming a pot stand, and I would recommend that you actually make a real pot stand. I didn't need these because of the nearly perfect conditions that we had going in. I wish that I had spent the extra money on 91% alcohol instead of the 70%. Obviously, I can do it with the 70%. However, it would have been significantly easier with this over what I brought with me. Got a couple of bug bites, mostly on my knuckles and a couple on my face, which was to be expected. So bring bug spray. I didn't think I was going to need it because it was going to be cold enough. I was wrong. And with all that being said, thank you all for making it to the end of the video. I'll try to film more of these types of videos if I can find other people who want to go with me. This channel is going to be a mix of everything I like to do, not just firearms things. And I enjoy putting myself to the challenge. As long as you're okay with being a little bit uncomfortable, this is a great thing to do over the weekend. Alrighty, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed all the content. I'll see you next time.